Hello, in this video we're going to show you how to assemble this bookcase. But before we get started, here's a few things to keep in mind. Estimated time for assembly is 100 minutes with 2 people and a bit longer with 1. Make sure you have a Phillips head screwdriver and just make sure everything's facing the right way as you're putting it together and you'll do great. So let's get into it. In step 1, we're going to put 4 cam bolts into piece 1. And for this, they're going to go into these holes here. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then 2 more on this other side. Just like that, and then we can set that aside for now. And then in step 2, we're going to be putting dowels into pieces 9 and 10. And they will go in the 2 inner holes on both pieces. So we'll take our tube of glue and then put little drops into each of the holes. And then we'll take our dowels and those go into those. And then we'll flip it over and do the same on the other 4 holes. Okay, there's pieces 9 and 10 done. And we can move on to step 3 with pieces 7, and we'll put dowels into these as well. Again, in the middle holes. And then we'll flip them both over. Do it on the other side. Okay, once all of those dowels are in, we're good to move on. In step 4, we'll start by putting the dowels into the top of pieces 2 and 3. So we'll do the same thing as before with our glue and just put little drops in the top. And there's 4 on each of these pieces. And then we'll put in 8 of our dowels. Okay, once all of those dowels are in, we're going to move on and put 8 cam bolts into each of these pieces. And then just pay attention to the instructions to know which holes to put them in. Okay, then we'll do the other 8 bolts on that piece and we're good to move on. In step 5, we're going to put all of the shelves onto piece 2. We're going to start with piece 10, which is the piece that has this groove on it. And this groove is going to line up with the groove here on piece 2. So this one goes here at the bottom. And then you want to make sure that this overhang here is facing the bottom towards the legs here. Now we'll take 2 of our cam locks and put those into the holes here and lock it in place. And then the next shelf will be piece 9. And same thing on this piece, we want this overhang to face this way towards the bottom. Now we'll lock that one in place. And then these 2 up here will be piece 7. Same thing again, with the overhang facing this way. Then we'll lock this in place. Last one. Okay, once all of those are locked in place, we're going to move on to step 6, which is putting this other half on top here. And you just want to make sure that you have the legs lining up with the other legs down here. So it'll go on this way. Okay, just like that. And then we'll do the same thing and lock them into place. Okay, once all of those are locked in place, we're good to move on. In step 7, we're going to put in the 2 back panels. And for this, we just want to make sure that on panel 5, there's a little notch here. That's going to end up on this end. So we'll go ahead and unfold this. And then we'll also want this tape to be facing up this way. So we have the 2 notches here and the tape to face up like this. So we'll slide this panel all the way down to the bottom. And this will go into the notch at the bottom as well. Okay, once that panel is in the groove, we can take this other panel and then we just want to make sure that the curved part is facing this way. And again, we want the tape to face up. And we'll go ahead and slide this in. And then this should just butt up against the other panel. And then in step 8, we'll put in screws E. And we're going to start with these 2 screws here. And just make sure that's all the way down. And we'll do these 2 first. Okay, once those two are in, we're good to do the other 4. Okay, once those are all in, we're good to move on. In step 9, we're going to attach piece 1 to the rest of the shelf. And for this, we just want to make sure that this groove inside lines up with this back panel here. So we'll go ahead and put this up here like this, just like that. And we can put in all 4 cam locks. Okay, once all 4 of those are locked in place, we're good to move on. In step 10, we're going to put these plastic wedges around the edge of the frame. And for this, we just want the flat part of the wedge to go into the side. And then we'll take one of our screws and go in through the hole. Okay, then we'll do the rest of them around the edge of the frame, and we're good to move on. In step 11, we'll put on the stickers to cover the cam locks, but we'll go ahead and skip ahead to step 12. And for that, we need our shelf pegs, and these go into these holes here. There's 3 options to choose from for height, but we'll go ahead and put them in the middle spots. And then we'll take piece 11, which is the shelf, and then we just want this unfinished edge to be facing towards the back and these peg holes to be at the bottom. Just like that, and then we're good to move on. In step 13, we'll put these 2 rubber dots on the center of the shelf here. So we'll go ahead and get them roughly in the center. Okay, once those are both on, we're good to move on. In step 14, we're going to attach the hinges to the doors along with the handles. And for these hinges, we just want this part that kind of sticks out at the bottom to go into the holes. And then we'll take our screws H and attach each of those with 2 screws. And then line up the second hole. Okay, once all of the hinges are on, we're going to put on the handles. And for these, we just want the flat edges to line up together. And we'll take our screws G, and those go into the inside. Then we'll tighten those completely. Then we'll do the other door. Okay, once those are both on, we're good to move on. In steps 15 and 16, we'll attach the doors. We've already done this door, but we'll show you how to do this door. So for this, we'll just extend the hinges. And we'll take a screw and put it on the tip of our screwdriver. And then we'll put it in through one of these top holes here. And we'll hold the door up and line it up with one of the holes inside. And then we'll tighten this first screw. Most of the way, but not completely. And I'll take a second screw. And I'll put it in one of the bottom hinge holes. And then we can do the rest of the screws. And then just make sure you tighten that first screw that's left a little bit loose. Okay, once those are all tight, we can check the alignment of our doors. And if you need help adjusting them, we have a video to help you out with that. But other than that, we're done. We hope this video was helpful for you in assembling your new bookcase. For more guides, tips, and tricks, go to walkeredison.com.